Good morning. It's Wednesday, March 25th. I'm Kathy Turner, Director of Communications for the Louisville Metro Department of Public Health and Wellness. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the information we sent out this morning about massage establishments now needing to apply for a local license. These subject matter experts are joining us today. Connie Mendel, Director of the Louisville Metro Department of Public Health and Wellness and Chief Health Strategist. Brad Silveria, Director of Louisville Metro Alcohol Beverage Control, and Louisville Metro District 23 Councilman Jeff Hudson. So let's get started. Councilman Hudson, I'd like to start with you. Could you share some background as to what led to the implementation of the ordinance that requires all massage facilities to obtain a local license and adhere to other health and safety regulations?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. In October of 2024, a couple of massage facilities opened up in my district. I started getting some phone calls from some of my constituents asking, how can they just open up overnight like this? What kind of licensing is required? So I started looking into it. And it turns out there was actually an ordinance on the books, but it had not been enforced for 15 years. And the next step was, well, let's start enforcing it, and discovered that we could not, because over that 15 years, the computer systems that the city uses to issue licenses had changed 3 times at least, and the capability to issue a license did not exist anymore. So it was going to, at a minimum, take some IT support to go in and change the systems to be able to issue a license. But the more that we looked into it, the ordinance that was currently on the books, which I think was written originally in 1974, just wasn't that applicable anymore. It was overly onerous on businesses, and it didn't really address what we wanted to address in what we were seeing today, which was human trafficking. And this is really an anti-human trafficking ordinance, not a massage facility ordinance. So we put together a couple of people and realized that we needed more expertise, and eventually that grew into a task force of over 40 people that worked for 14 months to craft this ordinance, which was passed in Metro Council after a long debate, certainly the longest ordinance debate since I've been in office, back in November of 2025. And since that time, we've been working to shift from creating the ordinance into more of an implementation phase. And I think we're getting very, very close. I'll let other people speak to that. But I want to thank the task force for all the work that they put in on this. We had people from all branches of law enforcement, from the county attorney's office, from the health department, from ABC, from almost every branch of local, state, and federal government was involved in this. So thank you to the task force for being there, for putting in so much work. And I think we've come up with a really good ordinance that will help business, that will also help to address the human trafficking issue that we're seeing in Metro Louisville.
Great. Thank you, Councilman Hudson. Director Mendel, can you explain some of the health and safety requirements of the new ordinance?
Sure, thank you. And also want to thank Councilman Hudson for his leadership in helping us to create this task force, along with the mayor's office, and particularly ABC and Louisville Metro Police contributed in a big way. So, and as Councilman Hudson said, human trafficking is the issue, and it's happening right here. These are illicit massage establishments. They're posing as legitimate massage businesses. And all of our efforts, or are focused on removing those illicit establishments, and they're located, in our community, near our schools, our restaurants, within residential area. They're exploiting women who are trafficked into this country, lured by false promises, and then controlled through coercion and debt. So everything we're doing here is to ensure that our establishments follow our state and local labor laws, our health and safety, and then the licensing requirements. So and this is it's a community safety issue. They exploit the victims that are working there, forced to work there, and they evade taxes and business laws and harm neighborhoods. So as the facilities, now everyone is charged with applying to be a massage establishment, and the definitions and all those requirements are listed on our website. There should be great information for everyone to follow, and you can also reach out if you have questions. But what our staff will do at the health department, we've already begun visiting these facilities. We're ensuring that someone there, that anyone providing massage services is licensed through the state, and they have that state massage therapy license. And then we're looking at just the general safety and conditions of the facility. So looking for signs of human trafficking, and then also looking just for general cleanliness, safety, all those specific pieces are listed. In addition to that, we're going to look for registries of employees, making sure that they have the mandatory licensing, and we'll be in, our goal is to inspect each facility twice a year. We'll look at their record keeping, and everything else, anything that would lead us to believe or any hints of an illicit business.
Thank you, Director Mendel. Director Silveria, can you talk about the issuing of the licenses, such as the provisional license, how that works, what happens after someone applies, and about enforcement, such as what happens when violations are seen?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Silveria. I'm Director of Alcoholic Beverage Control in the office of, inside our office, we have the Office of Licenses, Permits, and Investigations. We handle the specialty type of licenses for Louisville Metro government. The provisional license was born of, we had to hire and train staffing inside our office to accommodate this license. So basically the provisional license allows legal operation during the review period. We have hired a special projects commander inside ABC that will oversee this process for us. And once the provisional licenses are in place, there's a $50 fee that verifies that the establishment meets our land use code for zoning review. If the zoning is approved, then health department will go out and do the primary inspections. Health department will handle the majority of these inspections. And then my office, besides being the licensing entity, these licenses will expire January 1st of each year. We will also be responsible for prosecution of the human traffickers that we do come into contact with. I'll just kind of quit beating around the bush. Our job is to root this human trafficking out, and we're going to put human traffickers in this community in prison if we find them operating in this town. And that's kind of where I'll leave that. And I have some talented, strong investigators, and that's what we're going to do.
Thank you. Thank you to each of you for sharing some information and insights. I want to open the conversation to news media. If any of you have a question, you are free to unmute and ask, or if you'd like, you can put your question in the chat. So here's a question. What will be the process of cracking down on businesses that don't get a permit? Will they be immediately shut down or get a grace period? Director Silveria, could you answer that?
Yes, to kind of recap the question out of habit is, what are we going to do if we find businesses that don't comply with licensing requirements? And for the legitimate businesses, we will do everything we can, from warn them, practically ask them. I wouldn't say beg anybody to get a license, but what we're going to do is we understand that this is new. We're going to work very hard with our existing businesses to make sure that they comply, they get licensed. But I want to tell you again that at least my focus and my team's focus, while all of them must get licensed, the illicit businesses are our larger target, and we want to make sure that we're working to eradicate that from our community. So if somebody's having some trouble, it's a financial burden or whatever, my team will work with anybody to try to accommodate, to get them to the point where they can be in compliance.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, Kathy, and if I can add, we do have a mailing list. So we will be sending out a letter announcing the requirements. So, we will be reaching out along with the media advisory that you've sent today, on our website, social media, and along with a direct letter to a mailing list of facilities, just to try to let everyone know and give them as much notice as possible.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have a question? Any question about information that was in the press release?
If it's okay if I add, I know early on we received a lot of questions on who needs to apply for this permit as far as massage therapists. I would encourage everyone to look at our website and look at those questions. And if there's something that isn't answered, please reach out to us. There's an availability on the website to ask a question on the Louisville Metro Public Health and Wellness site, and also encourage residents to call Metro Call 311 if they suspect an illegitimate business, if there's something in their neighborhood or some information they would like to share to help us with these investigations.
Great, thank you. I did see that there's a question from Abby, and Abby asked us to go over the process of getting the license. So Abby, we don't use the term parlors because parlors has negative stigma. There are many certified, legitimate, professional massage facilities. So we always use that term. So can we go over the process of getting the license? What does someone have to provide? And who is in charge of enforcing the licensing? You're welcome, Abby. You don't know what you don't know, right? So I don't know if Director Silveria, Director Mendel, certainly the license, they would go we have on our webpage, there's a link to you set up an account in Acela, and then you apply for a license, and we have step-by-step instructions on the website of how to do that. Do you want to include what people have to provide to get that license? Director Mendel, Director Silveria. It's also, I believe, on the website, but.
Yeah, there is a requirement for background checks. So, and that is why there's, initially a $50 provisional license that will be provided. And that will cover, as Director Silveria mentioned, the zoning check. And so that, you're providing information of ownership of the facility, background checks, information on who all works at the facility. That's the majority of the application.
Okay, and I think someone else had a question, or Director Silveria, do you want to add something?
Just something really short, quickly here is, it says in the chat about the enforcement of the licensing. ABC and the Office of Licenses, Permits, and Investigations will handle the enforcement of the licensing. And if there's any criminal violations found, my investigators will handle. There's times we might make referrals to Louisville Metro Police or to other law enforcement agencies, but my investigators are police officers who can handle complex criminal investigations. So there's a lot of the cases will be handled by ABC. And then I wanted to add that there have been some inquiries to our office about exemptions under the ordinance, and we make determinations on whether or not the exemptions are met. And like if there's, for example, a practitioner operating out of their home, or if they're at a chiropractor's office or a doctor's office, and those type of things. And many of the exemptions will not require any a license from our department. And on a case by case basis, we make those determinations, and we'll communicate those with the health department. And then if they have applied, like for example, through the ACELA process, and that's not required, their zoning fee would be refunded, and there's no license required, and we would document that. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Thank you. Yeah, the list of exemptions is listed on the webpage, and that webpage link was also included in the press release. Okay, I think I heard somebody trying to come off of mute to ask a question a little while ago. Please feel free to do that.
I saw Joyce raise her hand a moment ago.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hi.
Sorry, Joyce.
That's okay. That was actually my question, just the process of it, and how long does it usually take to get licensing?
So I'll kind of chime in really quickly. The provisional license, we're gonna run up to June, I believe is what the determination was. Hopefully the licensing, now that the special projects commander has been hired on my team, licensing won't take a lot of time. We got to work out some of the bumps to make sure that it's smooth sailing going forward. But what I would say is the provisional license is in force until you've been inspected and we have converted your license. The fee has been paid, and then your license is converted, and then it's good until January 1st of the following year.
And so to verify that license, there's the paperwork and background checks that Director Mendel mentioned. And then also there's a health inspection that takes place and a zoning review. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Director Silveria. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joyce. Did you have more?
Yeah, one last question. So every year you have to go for a license. Is it a every year thing too?
It is, yes. It's every January that will expire on the facility, and a renewal takes place. It may or may not result in another inspection, I assume, because the health department will be inspecting these locations 2 times a year is I believe the goal. If I've heard that right, I hope I don't misspeak. And then my investigators will pay a visit if there's anything abnormal reported back. And then we also will perform some routine inspections of our licensees as well.
Yeah, Brad, I would add to that. I mean, you did a great job in answering the question. But what I would just add to that is that this is not an anomalous thing that we're doing. There are other facilities that get licensed that have been enforced over the past 15 years, like barbershops and restaurants and lots of other facilities that Metro government licenses. It's just this one, we have not been enforcing it, so it is going to take a little bit of growing pains to get us into the process that's already there for other facilities.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to add to that point, the health department currently inspects all food preparation facilities, along with swimming pools, tattoo studios, body art, piercing, very similar process. There's an annual inspection, at least one. Most of those facilities receive 2 so that would be very similar to massage facilities.
Great, thank you. Joyce, anything else? Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. And I see Fernando has a question. Director Silveria, would you be able to talk about the risk of human trafficking in the community when it comes to massage facilities? Have you seen that become more of an issue in Metro?
I'm going to say that I believe it has been an issue in Metro for quite some time. Everywhere you drive around Louisville, you see something that indicates that there is a spa or a massage. I'm going to put them in quotes, a spa or massage parlor that I believe, we all can tell that they're not a legitimate business. And have I seen it become more of an issue in Metro? I'm going to say that yes, I believe the exploitation of the women in these facilities that are not there of their own free will and accord. And Councilman Hudson and the Metro Council and the mayor's office has charged Connie and myself, Nicole George, this task force has charged us with rooting this out of our community, and we're going to do that. And it's one place at a time, and we're gonna do our very best to make sure that this no longer exists in our community.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if I can add, we take this responsibility very seriously. We've been able to provide training, and we will continue to provide ongoing training to our staff, all of our staff, inspection staff within ABC and health, and LMPD already does this human trafficking prevention training. And we'll also be providing signage to all facilities in multiple languages, whatever, all languages that are spoken within the facility. So we're able to communicate all of this, and the goal is to end or prevent human trafficking.
Yes, thank you. An example of that signage is also on the website. Anyone have any other questions? Lots of good questions. If there are no other questions, I'll just ask our experts if you have any other final thoughts you want to share. If not, that's fine. We can end.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right.
Kathy, and I'll end just to reiterate, we know that there's human trafficking happening. All of this is a goal to prevent that. And these are not legitimate businesses. They are hubs for organized trafficking, and they're hiding within our communities. So just to remind everyone, if you are aware of something or you suspect such a business, please reach out to Metro Call 311.
Great. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate everyone for joining us today. This ends our briefing. Thanks a lot.